lose the series, New York Knicks. You're just a bunch of sorry asses right now.
So Stephen A. Smith just went nuclear on the New York Knicks, and it's absolutely justified. This isn't just another hot take. This is a lifelong Knicks fan watching his team squander their best championship window in decades. We're breaking down why this organizational meltdown matters.
This was the Knicks' opportunity, and they're blowing it. You better win Game 4. You better win Game 4.
The urgency is real. The Knicks haven't won a championship since 1973. That's 53 years of futility. They've mortgaged their future, trading away multiple first-round picks and young talent. Every game they lose makes those trades look worse and their championship window narrower.
Listen, here's the reality of the situation. Nobody with sense is talking about getting rid of Jalen Brunson. We know how great he is. We know how phenomenal he is. We appreciate him.
Exactly right about Brunson. He's averaging 28 points on a team-friendly 4-year, $104 million contract. One of the best values in the league. This sets up the perfect contrast. When your best player is overperforming his contract, organizational failures become even more inexcusable.
Wasn't you on the Knicks like back pockets talking about what they weren't doing and how they needed to do it? Wasn't it you that sat up there and said Atlanta shouldn't be that tough of a series, but it was a tough series? They up 2-1 and on the verge of going up 3-1 on the New York Knicks because they couldn't close the deal in Game 3? That was you talking about that too.
This accountability angle is crucial. The Hawks were supposed to be a cupcake matchup. They barely made the play-in tournament. When analysts make bold predictions about easy series, they create expectations. The Knicks struggling against inferior competition validates every criticism about their construction.
So don't act like leaving us out on the island like you some innocent bystander hiding behind the bushes, nowhere to be found. You couldn't hide behind the Berlin Wall. That ain't gonna work.
The Berlin Wall reference is perfect here. That wall stood for 28 years as an unmovable barrier. He's saying there's nowhere to hide from this level of scrutiny. In today's social media world, analysts can't make predictions and then disappear when they go wrong.
We all understand what the hell was going on with the New York Knicks. They got a little bit too comfortable. So let me get specific while you on national television.
Complacency kills championship runs. Look at the 2004 Lakers with Shaq and Kobe. They got comfortable after reaching 4 finals in 5 years, then got upset by Detroit. The Knicks showed that same dangerous comfort level all season despite their talent.
The bottom line is this with the New York Knicks. They haven't looked the way they're supposed to look all year long. Even you said that. You said it on numerous occasions. Don't get amnesia now.
The regular season evidence backs this up. The Knicks were 50-32, but lost 12 games to teams under 500. That's championship level talent playing down to competition. They had stretches where they looked unstoppable, then inexplicably flat the next night.
So we're looking at the New York Knicks and we're asking, how are you going to get better? How are you going to position yourself to legitimately compete for a championship with the assets that you've given up? Leon Rose, up until that point, did an outstanding job.
Leon Rose deserves credit for his early work. He landed Brunson, drafted well with Quickly and Toppin, and created cap flexibility. But the recent aggressive moves, trading for Bridges and others, represent a shift toward win-now desperation that may have backfired spectacularly.
But I'm telling you right now, if the New York Knicks end up getting bounced out early, we're going to be looking at some of the moves that they made and what they didn't do and how much they gave up and for what.
Those trades will define Rose's legacy. They gave up 5 first-round picks and multiple young players for complementary pieces, not superstars. If they get bounced early, those picks could become the next Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, franchise-altering talents they no longer control.
Bridges is key because in the end, even though you may not require him to win this series, you certainly need him to play better and produce more than he has to validate the deal that they made for him. That is the reality of the situation. Look at those numbers right there. Is that what you expect from a cat that you gave up 4 first-round unprotected picks for, bro?
Unprotected first-round picks are NBA gold. They can become all-stars, franchise players, or valuable trade assets. When you surrender multiple unprotected picks for role players, you're betting everything on immediate success. The pressure for results becomes enormous and completely justified.
That's all anybody is saying. That's why we're looking at the Knicks. That's why we got trepidation. And that's why I'm very proud they handled their business the way that they did. Because how they handled their business is how they were supposed to handle their damn business. And I'm going to take some credit for it. They got comfortable, man.
His influence in New York sports is undeniable. When he criticized the Giants' offensive line in 2019, they made 3 moves that offseason. His Knicks criticism has consistently preceded front office changes. Players and executives know he speaks for a frustrated fan base that deserves better results.
Coming from Texas, talking about how New York Knicks fans supposed to act. Who are you? You don't get to do that, Big Perk. You from Texas. This is New York City, baby. You from Texas.
Now,
it don't work like that. We ain't flowing like that. Period.
Perk's been on some winning teams now. I think he's qualified to talk about what it takes to win.
He's qualified, not New York, though. No shade, because he ruined New York. He contributed to making New Yorkers unhappy when he was beating their behind when he was playing against them. He didn't care about us then. Don't act like you care about us now.
Regional authenticity matters in sports criticism. Born and raised New York fans have earned the right to demand excellence through decades of suffering. Outsiders offering perspective is fine, but telling lifelong fans how to react to another disappointing season rings completely hollow.
You understand? I don't want to upset Josh Hart. I got love for Josh Hart. You understand? I appreciate the Energizer Bunny that he is and what he brings to the New York Knicks. But damn it, we talking basketball. We ain't talking about your personal life. We ain't getting into none of that. We talking about what we seeing you do on the basketball court.
This separation is essential for honest analysis. You can respect Josh Hart as a person and teammate while acknowledging his playoff shooting struggles. Professional criticism focuses on performance, not character. Hart's 31% three-point shooting in crucial games deserves scrutiny regardless of his personality.
And when you consider the assets that the New York Knicks surrendered to get Mikal Bridges, you got to take into consideration, Big Perk, the Lakers gave up a first-round pick for Luka Doncic.
That Lakers comparison stings. They gave up 1 protected first rounder for Russell Westbrook, a former MVP. The Knicks surrendered multiple unprotected picks for Mikal Bridges, a solid starter. The value mismatch shows how desperate moves can mortgage a franchise's future unnecessarily.
We need more, bro. We need more, period. That is not a crime to say that. Not a crime.
Accountability isn't cruel. It's necessary. When teams make aggressive moves and create championship expectations, demanding results becomes fair game. The Knicks chose this pressure by trading their future. Now they have to live up to the stakes they created for themselves.
Big Perk has mentioned this on numerous occasions about potentially moving on from Embiid. The reason I'm averse to it, I don't agree with it, is because I don't think you can get anything for him because he is always injured.
Embiid's injury history is devastating for trade value. He's missed 40% of possible games over his career, including crucial playoff moments. Teams won't offer premium assets for a player who might not be available when it matters most. Philadelphia is trapped with an unmovable contract.
And nobody's going to give up any real assets for him. On one leg, I watched his brother average 35 in a playoff series against the Knicks a couple of years ago.
That 2022 playoff performance against the Heat proves the point perfectly. Embiid was playing on a torn thumb and broken face, yet still averaged 23 and 12. When superstars play through injury in crucial moments, it shows what's possible when they're committed and available.
I think that Embiid, if healthy, is one of the greatest big men to have ever played basketball. Unfortunately, he's never healthy. He came into the league missing the first 2 years of his career due to injuries, literally the first 2 years of his career.
The injury pattern started immediately. Embiid missed his entire first 2 seasons with foot problems, then averaged 31 games his first 3 active seasons. When a player's career begins with structural injury concerns, those issues typically persist and worsen over time.
But believe it or not, I don't find him to be the biggest problem. They should have never brought Paul George in. You didn't need him.
The Paul George signing made no sense strategically. They gave $212 million to another injury-prone veteran who missed 26 games last season. Instead of addressing their depth and health concerns, they doubled down on fragile stars. Poor roster construction disguised as championship building.
They're just not. That's just the truth. All right? You bring Paul George there, that ain't working. VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey are the future of this franchise.
Maxey represents everything Philadelphia should build around. He's 24, improving every season, and has played 78 games 2 straight years. The Warriors build around young Curry and Thompson, not aging superstars. Maxey and Edwards give them a sustainable championship foundation if managed correctly.
We're praying that Joel Embiid is healthy enough every April. That's what it comes down to. Philadelphia got romped yesterday because they're an inferior team, and if they ain't careful and they don't get their act together, Tyrese Maxey's going to one up out of there. Because why, as great as he is, sit around and be subjected to this?
Star player retention is everything in today's NBA. Look how dysfunction drove away Kevin Durant in Brooklyn, or how Sacramento almost lost De'Aaron Fox before their turnaround. Maxey's entering his prime. Why would he stay if the organization keeps making questionable decisions around him?
The only reason Paul George is there, and again, we're not saying that Paul George don't deserve to be in this league and he ain't an all-star caliber player when healthy. We love Paul George.
The broader point hits perfectly. Individual talent means nothing without proper organizational structure. Paul George is still a quality player, but adding him to an already flawed roster construction just created more expensive problems. Sometimes good players make bad fits, and Philadelphia exemplifies that completely.